For all of us looking to have an amazing retirement one day, the truth is your 401k is now your pension. The days of corporations offering guaranteed income for life are long gone. So all the decisions that you make around your 401k, that is what is going to determine what type of retirement you have. Decisions like how much should you contribute? Should you contribute to a traditional 401k or a Roth 401k? What does your investment allocation look like? Which funds do you choose? How do you manage risk inside of your 401k? So in this video, I'm going to go through, break it down, all of these decisions to hopefully set you up for success so you could enjoy the retirement that our parents are currently enjoying with those guaranteed paychecks that they're getting each and every month. I hope that you find this one helpful. Let's get to it. Employer-sponsored retirement plans. They have taken the place of pensions. Employers now, they have passed the risk of managing these plans for you and giving you a guaranteed income in life. They instead now transfer that risk to you where you are in control. You have to decide how much money you're putting in to your retirement plan. You have to manage the investments. You have to decide if you do traditional versus Roth. It all falls on your shoulders now. Historically, pensions, they used to account for 60 to 70% of your income in retirement. And then you slap on Social Security to that as well. And people who were retiring 30 years ago, they had basically their guaranteed income covering 100% of their expenses. Any money that they were able to save throughout their working careers, that was just the cherry on top. That was money that they were able to use to go out and enjoy their retirement. These days, it looks nothing like that anymore. Now, less than 15% of private employers offer a pension. And Social Security, even though I'm a big believer that it's going to play a major role in all of our retirements, it is an uncertainty, and people are very easy about the stability of Social Security and what it might look like in the future. So this all comes back to you need to be plowing money away in your 401k, your 403b, your 457 plan, your Roth IRA, traditional IRAs, retirement accounts that you are in control of. So bottom line, for a majority of us out there, your 401k, your retirement accounts, that is your new pension plan. So now the first and most important decision is how much should you contribute to your retirement plans? And the days of deciding should I or should I not contribute, those are over, or else you're never going to be able to retire. So you want to start with a baseline that you're going to commit to. And the good rule of thumb is to do 15% of your gross income. So if you make $100,000 a year, contributing $15,000 a year, and it could be a combination of your 401k and the Roth IRA, for example. But investing and saving 15% per year into retirement accounts, that is a great starting point. And if you can't do that much right now, you at least have to commit to doing whatever you're getting in an employer match. You always want to take that free money and make sure that you are getting 100% of whatever match your employer might give you. Now, the ultimate goal should be to max out your retirement accounts. And it might take a while before you could get to that point where you are maxing them out. But in 2026, they increased the limits, the contribution limits that you could do per year up to $24,500 if you are under the age of 50. And if you are ages 50 or older, then you could do a catch-up contribution of an additional $8,000 in your retirement plan, in your 401k plan. And now, if you are between the ages of 60 and 63, then you could contribute even more in the catch up. You could do up to $11,250 on top of your $24,500 for a catch up contribution. And the real secret to success inside of your 401k is starting early, being consistent, taking advantage of the employer match, and trying to increase it every single year when you get a raise, just trying to push more money into it. Like a very simple example, if you were able to contribute $10,000 a year each year for a 30-year period, invested in the market, let's say you were able to get an average rate of return of 8%, you would have over $1.1 million 30 years later. And now that's including an employer match. So even if you were only able to do $7,000 a year and your employer did a $3,000 match, that would be $10,000 a year. That would make you a millionaire in retirement. So it's really not that hard. And obviously, when you get older and you're making more money and you're more successful, and maybe your kids are grown and out and life is less expensive, and you could really plow money in those last few years where you're maxing out your retirement accounts, you could really build it up to a nice nest egg. But the important thing is getting started and being consistent and looking at it as a very high priority for you to be able to retire nice one day. And now the next big decision that you're going to have to make, I mean, they're all big decisions, but the next one is, do you contribute to a Roth 401k or do you do a traditional 401k? And this really all comes down to your tax bracket, how much income you earn. So let me quickly explain the difference between these two. When you contribute to a traditional 401k, you are getting a tax deduction when you put that money in. It comes right off the top of your W-2. So for example, you make 100 grand a year. If you put in $10,000 a year into your traditional 401k, then your W-2 actually only says that you made $90,000. That $10,000, you are getting a tax deduction now. It is valuable now to reduce your taxes. And then the money inside of your traditional 401k, it will grow tax deferred, right? You're not paying taxes on any gains throughout the years or dividends or interest. And then in retirement, when you take distributions, when you start using that money to live, that is when you are taxed at ordinary income tax rates. Roth 401ks are the opposite. When you contribute to a Roth 401k, you are paying the taxes now. So you pay the taxes now, the net amount after taxes, you then contribute money into your Roth 401k. That money, it grows tax-free. It comes out tax-free. So in retirement, when you start taking distributions, there is no taxes that are due at that point. So for example, if you were in a very high tax bracket, then the deduction is more valuable now. If you're in the 32% tax bracket, you make a lot of money right now, you want to choose a traditional 401k because that deduction is valuable. If you make a little bit of money right now, if you're in a lower tax bracket, a 10% tax bracket, a 12% tax bracket, then choosing a Roth is more advantageous because you're deferring that deduction now. You don't need it right now. You're only paying 10 or 12% in income taxes. So forego the deduction, let that money grow tax-free, and then when it comes out, it'll be tax-free in retirement. Now, if you're in the 22 or 24% tax bracket, then I normally say, depending on what your current mix is, what your current tax diversification is, you could do a split. You could do 50% traditional 401k, 50% Roth 401k. You could do 70-30, whatever the case may be. But it's great to go into retirement having tax diversification, having money in traditional, having money in Roth, having money outside of retirement accounts in a regular brokerage account or a high yield savings account. This will really allow you to control your tax brackets in retirement. And this is an important piece. So I don't love the idea of going all Roth your whole life and having no money in traditional accounts, because when you retire, when you take distributions, you might have some years of very low income, especially before you turn Social Security on and because you won't have a pension. Those are prime planning years where you want to have money in traditional 401ks or traditional IRAs and take distributions and fill up those low tax brackets at that time. There's nothing better than deferring money at 32% right now, and then in retirement, taking it out at 10 and 12%. So you want to have a mix so you could control those tax brackets. All right, so we've decided how much we're going to contribute each pay period. We've decided if we're going to do traditional or Roth or a combination of the two. The next very important decision is how do you actually invest the money inside of your 401k? And this is usually the one that people just have absolutely no clue, right? And they ask their coworker, they ask somebody in HR, like, how should I invest this money in there? And this is going to be the biggest determining factor of how much money you'll actually have in retirement. So there's usually 3 different types of asset classes or options that you're going to have available. But then with each one of those, there might be 20 or 30 options. But from a high level, you're going to have stocks, right, where you're investing in the stock market, or you're going to have bonds where you're investing in bonds that are a little bit safer and more secure. And then you also have money market funds or savings accounts, or sometimes it's even just called the safe investment option inside of your 401k, a stable value fund where you're earning like what savings accounts pay, maybe 3.5% or so. And you have those 3 different options, but then underneath you have many different options below that. So now the younger you are, the more aggressive you should be. If you're between the ages of 20, and again, this is not investment advice, I'm just giving you my opinion here. But if you're between the ages of like 20 and 45, I think being 100% stocks in a well-diversified portfolio is a very smart way to go because you have a long time still until you're actually going to be using this money and retiring. And the stock market, even though it could be a roller coaster ride, we could have very good years, very bad years, and you have to be able to stick through that. The great thing with the 401k is that you are dollar cost averaging in. You are adding money every 2 weeks when you get paid. And it doesn't matter if the market's going up or down, right? You're not touching it for a long time. So if the market goes up, you're adding $200, it's going in at those prices. The market drops 20%, now you're adding $200 that's going in at a 20% discount, right? And it just continues over time. You're accumulating shares of all of these funds and investments. So you really should not worry about what the market is doing at any point in time, because you have a long way to go before you're touching that money. You just have to have faith and hope that the United States is going to continuously grow, which it has done over the last 100 years. Over the last 100 years, the stock market has averaged over 10% per year. If you look at the S&P 500, and that's the 500 largest companies in the United States. So the younger you are, the more aggressive you are able to be. And then as you get older, you start down a little bit. You start taking some money from those stock funds and you move them into bond funds, which are more safe and secure. And then once you're in retirement, you want to have money there for you that you're going to be distributing. You want it to be very safe. You don't want to go to take a distribution from your 401k and the market gets clobbered, and then you're in a situation where it's like, all right, now I got to sell lower. You don't want to be in that situation and you're worrying about it at night. You want to have a few years of distributions laid out for you in very safe and secure investments. So investment allocation, it's going to play a major role. I've seen many, many instances where people are young or they're around my age, where they're, 45 to 50 years old, and they are way too conservative inside of their retirement accounts. Most of their money is in bonds and in money market accounts where they're getting 3 or 4% per year. And that is costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars later on in retirement, because they are not investing for growth, because they say from the beginning, they're like, I don't like the stock market. I don't trust the stock market. I want to invest. I don't want to lose any money. But the reality is, by making that choice, they are losing a ton of money and missing out on a ton of growth, because the market on average has just done so much better. So it's not guaranteed. Nothing is ever guaranteed, but history as our guide, you'd be much better off investing in stocks over the long term, rather than taking the stance that, like, I don't want anything to do with that. I just want my money safe and secure. Now, once you decide, all right, I want to put 90% of my money in stocks, 10% of my money in bonds, then you have the decision of actually choosing the funds inside of your 401k. And now I have made videos on this in the past. I'm not going to get into all the details on this, but you want to have a very well diversified portfolio, and you want to use something that's called index funds. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm sharing my experience and my opinions with you, right? But like the S&P 500, if you have that index fund, which most 401k plans do, then that is going to be a very low cost option where you're getting exposure to the 500 largest companies. And that could be your US large cap piece. Then you're going to want to have a smaller piece in US mid-sized companies, a smaller piece in US small cap companies. And again, you want to be looking at index funds for these. You want to have some in international companies, some in emerging markets, and you start to put a portfolio together of stock funds to make up your stock piece inside of your 401k. And then for the bond piece, you want to have some government bonds, some corporate bonds, some short-term bonds, mid-term bonds, long-term bonds, right? Very well diversified in your portfolio. And now in this chart right here, I'm just showing you over the last 10 years or so. And again, the last 10 years, the market has been very good. So you can't take this and say, this is what it's going to look like going forward. We have had a great 10-year stretch. But if you look at the rates of returns here, we could see that like US technology companies have done amazing. That's what the NASDAQ is. That follows US tech, right? Or the S&P 500, which I mentioned before. You could see how that has done so much better than these bond funds and short-term money market type funds. Even international and emerging market funds, small cap, mid cap, they have not done nearly as well as the US large cap. So when I'm putting a portfolio together, I am typically doing out of my stock piece around 60% in US large cap companies. And then maybe I'm doing 15% in mid and small cap and 15% in developed markets and emerging markets, and then have a little bit more in technology funds, and putting together a nice diversified portfolio. So would it be crazy inside of your 401k to have 7 or 8 funds all together in the mix for your stock and bond pieces? Now that leads me into another very popular option inside of these 401ks, which is called a target date retirement fund. And this is more of like a set it and forget it type fund, where you could just choose one fund and call it a day, because inside of that fund, there are other funds. It's a fund of funds, as we call it. So all you need to do is basically pick the year that you are targeting for retirement and choose that fund and stick with it all the way through. And then inside of that fund, it is being managed by whatever fund company is inside of your 401k, that over time, it'll get more conservative as you start to approach that target date. There are definitely pros and cons to choosing target date funds. And personally, I don't love them. I really do like them if you are somebody who just wants to set it and forget it and not really look at it, and you're not really looking at this stuff and worried about it, and you just want something simple, then it is great because you could just do it and leave it, and it is what it is. The cons for it is that sometimes, they all look different. So sometimes you might not be getting exactly what you think. Like, for example, a 2040 target date retirement fund from Vanguard compared to Fidelity, one might have much more bond exposure. It might be much more conservative than the other one. So you just want to understand what exactly is under the hood. And the other thing is that the expenses, the fees inside of the target date retirement fund, it might be more than if you just actually went and put your own portfolio together. So you just want to be aware of that. But if you're of the mindset, I just want simplicity in my life, I just want to set it and forget it, a target date fund, by default, it is a very solid option. And so that leads me into fees. Now, fees are a very big part of all of this. I keep using the term index fund, and an index fund is a low cost option. And the reason for that is because it just follows an index. There's nobody behind the curtain managing it, trying to pick winners and losers inside of the fund. All right, they're just following, like the S&P 500, it follows the 500 largest companies. A mid-cap index fund, it's following all the mid-cap stocks, right? And nobody is in there saying this company looks better than this company, let's add a little bit more to this, a little bit less of this, right? It is a passive fund, and because of that, it is lower cost. And history has proven that index funds and passive investing has actually outperformed when you are paying a fund manager trying to pick winners and losers. So you want to see what the expense ratio is inside of all of your investment funds. And that's where I was saying before, a target date fund, because there is some management in there, it is more expensive than if you just choose the index funds and put a portfolio together. But you want to be very aware of fees, because that could also cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your career inside of your 401k plan. All right, we just went through a lot there in a short period of time. I'm going to do more videos on 401ks because they really are that important, and especially understanding the investment mix and all of that. If you ever did want to work with me, I do this for a living, on an hourly basis with people. If you just want to say, here's my 401k options, please tell me what it looks like, what I should be doing. I do one-time engagements where you can put a financial plan together, including your 401k and how it fits into your life and everything. But if you go to schoolofpersonalfinance.com, you can look at all the different ways that you could work with me. But this 401k stuff, retirement planning stuff, it is very, very important these days. And the younger that you get a handle on this and get it going, the happier you are going to be walking off into retirement. So I hope that you found this one helpful today. I will see you again in the next video. Thanks.